My name is Sina Bredthauer, and I'm standing here in front of you today to talk about community. But before I do that, I would like to take a step back and basically ask you a question. Because to be honest, preparing for this year and having this theme, Superwoman, has been slightly intimidating. So I took a step back and was actually wondering myself, what makes a superwoman? And that's exactly the question that I'm putting into this room towards you guys as well now. Because when I think of superwomen, this is what comes to my mind. It's women in capes, it's Black Widow from the Marvel universe, or it's this Don right here, Stefflon Don, whom we've had the pleasure to work with beginning of this year, and who just goes on stage and strikes a pose. However, then I thought a little bit further, because this is obviously not me. So what I did was look into my own community. I was looking into my circle of friends and then also my family. So within my family, I already found there's a lot of very strong women right there. Starting with my grandma, who passed away last year, 101 years old. And until the very last day, she was living on her own, in her own house, independently. Or my mother. My mom is a physiotherapist, and she's super passionate about her job because she's helping people and she loves it, and she's amazing at it. When I was growing up, she was working full-time, and she was the only woman, the only mother in the circle of my friends who did that. And I can tell you, in a small town where I grew up, this was not normal as it is today. It was socially not necessarily accepted. However, she didn't care because she loved to help people, so she just powered through and raised two pretty independent women on the side. Which brings me to my third person in my family, which is my sister, who's actually here with me today. And she is also quite a superwoman because she's working as a headhunter in IT business. Very high-end IT managers. And she is, okay, just checking. You can hear me, right? Yeah. Perfect. So in her early days of her career, she was telling me about a meeting she just had with a guy who was sitting opposite her, so a fancy high-end IT dude, and he wouldn't talk to her, even though she was in charge. So he wouldn't even look at her whenever she asked him a question. He addressed it to her male colleagues next to her. I can tell you this much, this doesn't last very long because she has a very strong point of view and she knows how to express it, which is amazing. And today she's running her firm's office here in Berlin. So my point is, not all superwomen wear capes. And I can only encourage you, look into your own community, into your circle of friends and family, and you will find amazing talent and inspiration right there. And lucky for me, this is what I get to do every day in my job. I work at Snipes. Snipes is a streetwear retailer that has been founded 23 years ago by our CEO, Sven. We have become from a very first store in Essen, Germany, to a $1 billion company that is operating in the whole of Europe and even the US. The reason why I'm doing this is because we never established ourselves as a retailer. We established ourselves as a platform for street culture and the respective communities that live within there. Let me give you an example, because that sounds a little bit weird, right? But it kind of is more of a feeling. So my example to you is, recently we had a community research with one of the biggest sports brands in the world. And we asked our community to personalize first the brand and then Snipes. For the brand, what they told us is that they see them as a kick-ass athlete, like a LeBron James, huge, incredibly rich, successful, everyone knows them, but they're obviously not reachable for our community. Snipes, on the other hand, they considered as the older sibling. And this is amazing for us, because what means the older sibling? It's basically someone that you look up to, that inspires you every day, that helps you to be better. So basically for us, that was the biggest compliment we could get. How do we get there? For us, everything we do, no matter in which department you work, everything is around these 3 C's. It's community, culture, and commerce. as you can see, e-commerce comes only third. So again, not really a retailer, right? I'm here today to talk about my favorite C, which is obviously community. So let's dive deeper into that. And I think it makes sense for me to start by identifying who our community is. Because it's basically everyone who ever gets into contact with us as a brand 365. It can be someone who is standing in the crowd in front of the Snipes main stage on the biggest hip-hop festivals across Europe, like Wuha or Frauenfeld. It's each and every one of our 1.8 million followers, because for them, we don't only show product into their faces. Instead, we update them on cultural news day in and day out. Obviously, yes, it's also our consumers. So those actually purchasing in our stores or through the app. But the important thing is that we don't limit our community to purchase. For us, the journey with the kids and us starts, as mentioned before, way earlier. And if they want to, it can end in our stores. What we're doing in and day out, and this is basically the most important slide here, what we do on a daily basis is inspire and enable our community. Two huge words, two incredibly important words. So let me deep dive more into those. Starting with inspiration. And I can tell you this is already freaking hard not to crack. Because how do you inspire a generation that is so overwhelmed with information? Every day, 24/7, right there at their fingertips. They have an attention span of what? A few seconds. For us, it's quite simple. We just ask them. Because at Snipes, what we have is a designated community insights team that is literally going into the markets, talking one-on-one to our community. And the insights that we get from them, kind of like, where do they want us to show up? What cultures do they see us in? And what do they want us to do? We take those insights and form our strategy out of that. Giving you an example of one part of a marketing strategy, where we took those insights and kind of transformed them into actions, and that is through our collaborations over the last 2 years. So the community tells us music is utterly important. Same for us. I mean, music, hip-hop is Snipes' DNA. So what we do is collaborate with the biggest artists, as mentioned before, Stefflon Don, or this guy right here, DJ Khaled, who after the collaboration was such a fan of our concept that now he's our CCO. Or the community tells us that they are spending a lot of time on streaming platforms. What we did was work with Netflix on 2 of the most important franchises for our community, La Casa de Papel and Stranger Things. They tell us how important gaming is, because not only because they're bored, but because in a world when they couldn't meet their friends in real life, this is where they met digitally. We had the opportunity to work with Sony and Sony Music last year around this time, right at the perfect moment when Sony was launching the PlayStation 5. And we even got our hands on a few consoles, which were incredibly limited. And we were able to take those consoles and provide our community with them. Our community tells us how important in real-life experiences still are. We have the best events team in-house in our marketing team, which worked super closely with Warner. And so we were able to host the European premiere of Space Jam: A New Legacy this year in Berlin. They tell us how food is really merging with streetwear, with hip-hop culture. In 2 days, we're launching our collaboration with McDonald's. I promise you, we keep kicking our own asses, sorry, because we have to get out of our comfort zone in order to be relevant for our community. And I'm going to leave you with one word that continuously comes up when we talk to our community these days, and that is e-mobility. Massive cliffhanger. Okay, so done with inspiration. Let's go into enablement. How do we enable our communities? And basically, we split our communities here in 2. One is the public, everyone who follows us as a brand. And one of the most amazing projects we have is the Snipes Sound Booth. It's basically a hip-hop talent platform where our community can upload their homely produced beats or their 16 bars of rap. We, together with a proper jury, decide who wins per country, and then even identify a European winner. And what they get from us is, well, obviously, us as a platform, and I can tell you, almost 1.8 million followers on Insta. That's quite a platform for very young talents, but we want to make it more sustainable. So what we do is provide them with mentorships and provide them with hardware, like a mini home studio, so they can build on that talent and take it to the next step. The second community that we enable on a basically daily basis is something that we are super, super proud of. It's pretty much what differentiates us from everyone else. It's a competitive advantage. It's our Snipes family, especially Snipes staff. So pretty much everyone working on the shop floor, day in and day out, talking to our community and serving them. These people are so amazing. They are incredibly authentic and talented. And my favorite enablement tool for the Snipes family is the one that comes next. It's the Girl Squad. You could think, okay, these girls are ridiculously beautiful. That's what I thought. But that's not the reason why we chose them. Because why we chose them is we bring them together because they all have amazing personalities, very strong personalities. They all have a point of view on street culture and how women should be included more. They have insane talents. A former Girl Squad member, just as an example, Anela, she is currently making her career in music and just dropped her second single. Or other girls are professional dancers. Or some of these girls right here are about to start their own fashion line. So insane talents, I can tell you. And what we do with them is bring them together on a seasonal basis so they can exchange. That alone is pretty amazing. So just having them talk to each other, what it feels like to be a woman in still kind of male-dominated street culture. On top of that, to kind of enable them a bit more, we invite guest speakers, inspirational female leaders from the industry that inspire them, educate them, and help them establish a network in the industry. I can tell you this much. Bringing these girls together in one room, the energy is priceless. Seriously. It's amazing. And these are superwomen right there. Which brings me back to my initial question. What makes a superwoman? And once again, I can only encourage you, look into your own communities, into circle of friends, families, at work, you name it. Because there's so many superwomen and supermen right there. And maybe you also take a good look into the mirror, because it could be that your superpower, kind of like my superpower, is not to stand on the stage, but to set the stage for those who actually belong on it, to hand them the cape so they can strike a pose. And because I love doing that, this is what I'm going to do right now. Thank you so much for listening, and now I'm incredibly proud to introduce you to the Snipes Girl Squad.
Hi, Forbes Women Summit. This is the Girl Squad from Snipes, and we are so excited for you to have in us. Like we're like one big circle and community of a lot of power girls who just want to like reach a big goal and who wants like to give a big like message out to the world and out to the other girls. And we just want to empower them and show women how dope we are.
I wanted to experience getting to know new girls that are definitely going to teach me things that I maybe wouldn't have learned in my community with the people I chill with. So that's what I wanted to learn, and obviously also like the whole content creating from different perspectives and being inspired by different types of creative outlets. yeah.
I want to be a part of the girl squad because it seems to me a very dynamic way to showing that I can also influence, and I want to learn about the girl squad because there are a lot of way of thinking.
Female empowerment is equality for me, no more.
Female empowerment for me would be able to do whatever we as women want without having to over-explain ourselves, without fitting into one specific image of a feminine person. Empowerment also means taking up space in whatever we choose we want to do and being respected just the same.
Be themselves, because I think to be a woman or to be a girl is something so cool, because we can do a lot of stuff and so many doesn't even know how powerful they are. And I just want them all to know that they can reach everything they want if they just stay true to themselves and love themselves.